Yeah, welcome to another episode of Mr. Z and Fifth with your host, Zacchaeus and the Fifth General. What's up, man?
It's good to be here, man. Blessings.
Yeah, we back with another episode. Our main topic today, we'll get in that in a minute. Our main topic today, and a nice little influence. This what has sparked and influenced this topic of today. There's a recent clip of Jada Pinkett-Smith talking to on Red Table Talk, her show, and she's talking to actress Gwyneth Paltrow, and she's talking about, reading, people supposed to read your mind, whatever. If you're married to somebody, love somebody, and whatever. She's talking about the bedroom, da 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 da. We know who she's married to, so we don't have to actually figure out who she's talking about, okay? Because the only marriage we know, the only marriage we know of hers is to Will. She's only been married to him, and she ain't talking about her relationship with Tupac, because she don't speak ill will of him.
Right.
So she got to be talking about Will. That's all I'm saying. But we're going to talk about the title. Does she disrespect you in public? I repeat, the title is, and our subject is, does she disrespect you in public? Before we get into that, we're going to get into a little hip-hop news, black entertainment news. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame happened not too long ago. Okay, by the time this episode is out, people already should know by now. It'd be old news by now. But LL Cool J and Jay-Z, two hip hop legends, and long overdue Tina Turner.
Way overdue.
Yeah, long overdue. You know what I'm saying? So others were too, but we're just gonna pinpoint them particularly. Zacchaeus, you want to start?
Yeah, man. I was really I applaud Jay-Z and LL Cool J. Well, I thought their roses was overdue too. It's just that I'm just very proud that Jay was able to give a story, speak, and also give props to Damon Dash, how they started out. They didn't. What I admire about them too is they not only that they help other artists out, but they also didn't have to rely on a record label to push out their music. Damon, that's when he built Rockefeller. Jay was a help, and they said, you know what? Instead of us rushing different record labels, instead of us pushing our record labels and trying to get our music to different days and getting turned down, why don't we just build our own? And that's was very inspiring. Yo, I remember when Jay started back in I'm going way back, 1988, when he started when we used to buy cassette tapes in New York, when he started with Jay-Z and the Jazz back in 1988.
Big Jazz, a.k.a. Jazzo.
Jazzo, yeah. Man, I had that cassette tape and I would play it, man. And I'm like, man, the tongue twisting style of Jay-Z, it just bring back some memories, man. And he came a long way, a mighty long way, a mighty, mighty long way, man, from where he started. And LL Cool J started in 1986. LL Cool J started in 1986. And he started at age 16. Came a long way. Yeah. Well deserved to get this honor for real, because, man, let me tell you something. That's the East Coast New York City hip hop, the birth of hip hop, the Bronx. That's from Queens, but he really, he really represented for hip hop to the fullest, and still does. And still does.
That's the good thing.
Well overdue. And Tina Turner, oh my gosh, you're talking about Tina Turner.
Yeah, talk about
has been singing.
Talk about it.
Now repeat myself.
Yeah,
Tina Turner has been singing since the to late 1950s, early 60s, late 50s, and 1960s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she was with I still well overdue. I believe that she should have got a roses since the 80s, along with the Temptations, Smokey Robinson, Berry Gordy, and Stevie Wonder. I think that she should have got it in Patti LaBelle.
Well,
let's
keep some context in mind.
Yeah, man.
To most people, Tina has gotten her flowers. It's just to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She's just now getting her flowers. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is not the council for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Was not originally intended to go across genres. You know, so we have to put that in context. We already know Jay-Z and LL Cool J are legends. We already know that. But then but then we had to recognize who holds the Council of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, if anything, there should have been a hip hop Hall of Fame a long time ago. And as far as Tina actually is a combination of a rock and roll and something else. Okay. Tina actually is rock and roll when you think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it does make sense for Tina to be to be indicted, inducted into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because there is a rock and roll, old rock and roll when it was just rhythm and blues culture that Tina embodies and comes from. So her being inducted into Hall of Fame, although it's timely, but we just have to remember who runs the council. That'll answer that. But to a more R&B and soul and funk audience, gave Tina her flowers a long time ago. You know?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is cool and all, and Dave Chappelle said it about Jay-Z. He said, hey, I appreciate you indicting. Dang, why do I keep saying that word? I appreciate you inducting Tina into Jay-Z into the Hall of Fame, but he's ours. And I know what he means by ours. You know what I mean? And shout outs to LL Cool J. This is not to take down the moments that they've enjoyed by being humbled to be inducted into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but this is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This does not do any less for them if they wouldn't have got it or gotten it. We already know that they're legends, and we have appreciated them forever. I just trying to figure out why BET Awards, and I know BET is not owned by black people. I get it. I've been known that. Where's the Lifetime Achievement Award for LL Cool J? I'll wait. Oh, that's right. He hasn't gotten one.
That's right.
Where's the Lifetime Achievement for Tina Turner?
I'll wait. I wait.
I don't know where that's at. BET, where's the Lifetime Achievement for? I guess the Lifetime Achievement for Jay is coming up. But maybe I've missed something. Maybe I need somebody to help me. Maybe something already happened. I don't know, but I don't recall.
Right.
I don't recall the homage that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame did for these three artists. I don't know if in the black entertainment world we have gave them Lifetime Achievement Awards. In the Latinx community with their awards, they gave Jennifer Lopez her flowers and Lifetime Achievement eons ago. You know what I'm saying? So I respect what they do, because they already understand. They don't need anybody else to validate them for how great the culture, the artists that are in their culture. They don't need people on the other side to say they're great to know, so that they can acknowledge they're great. No, they take care of their own first. Okay, so
that's one thing I gotta say about them.
Exactly,
but the Latino community, they definitely take care of their own.
They take care. Let me tell you something.
Artists and musicians, they do support.
Yeah, they do it, and they're not concerned about if anybody else does. That's why I admire about them, and that's why on this side of the coin, I don't know. I could just be vetting because I don't know. Zacchaeus, you take over because I ain't got no more to say. I ain't got no more to say on that.
J-Lo, Mark Anthony, even Selena got recognition. You know what I'm saying? Right now in Corpus Christi, they got a statue of Selena.
Mm-hmm.
In Corpus Christi, Texas.
As they should.
Yeah. For a short life, she really impacted. And we should really support our artists in the African diaspora.
Mm-hmm.
Support. And I'm and I'm a little taken back to how come Cool J deserved that Life Achievement Award. And Jay deserved that Life Achievement Award. These are artists that are timeless.
Yeah.
Timeless.
The point I was making was they should have gotten that before the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's my point. They might get more recognition and more flowers now. From that sense, they might get it more now. After that, but the thing is, it should have been done before that. You gonna make LL Cool J wait all this time, and then they gotta ring him in, and then so now the response is on the other side, on this side. Now it's like, okay, BT, the BT Hip Hop Awards. VH1 did a hip hop honors for LL Cool J years ago. I'll give VH1 that credit. VH1 annually used to put a lot of money towards the VH1 hip hop honors. Okay?
Right.
Now, maybe there's a lack of research on my part. Maybe BET did. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't recall. But I know that, there should have been a mass tribute to LL Cool J a long time ago. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I'm done because I don't want to. I really want to get to the next topic, but from a positive standpoint, because it sounds like it's getting negative. From a positive standpoint, I love what happened here. Yeah, I hope that this leads to something else. LL is a fantastic artist. Jay-Z, fantastic artist. Okay. Tina, you got to give Tina, Tina's still here with us, and give people their flowers while they're here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm about that. So keep the acknowledgement going and keep the celebration of these three. Keep it going for the rest of the year and next year. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, man.
Now it's other people's turn. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame did it. Okay, now, what else? What everybody else got next? You know what I mean? I tell you what, I like we said in the other episode when we were talking about verses. I better see LL Cool J in that verses because LL, people were talking about LL and Jay-Z. I don't know if I want that matchup, but I want that Busta Rhymes and LL Cool J matchup. I think that'd be dope. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Yeah. I think it's Missy Elliott and Busta Rhymes. I think. Yeah.
Well, Missy Elliott's name came up by fans, but it ain't official. And no disrespect to Missy Elliott, that's not a good matchup either. I don't think Busta Rhymes and Missy Elliott are a good matchup, and it's not because it's a male and a female. I just don't think it's a good matchup. I think it's a good show, right?
Right.
But I don't think it's a good matchup because once we get into the bars,
right,
you can't mess with Busta. Missy can't touch Busta Rhymes when we get to them bars now. When we get to them bars, LL Cool J can be comparable to Busta Rhymes with lyrics. So
yes.
From a hip hop element, I get it. From an entertainment standpoint, I can understand why people are saying Missy and Busta Rhymes. But Versus is also about them bars too.
Yeah,
Let's not get it twisted. That's why KRS-One and Big Daddy Kane, because that matched up the way it did because they got bars, and the Lox and Dipset didn't match up as good as it did because Dipset are not lyricists to the same level that the Lox are.
Right.
Okay, so that's why that went the way it did, and I know it's about hits and everything, but then when Jada brought it to them bars, I mean, Dipset had nothing for that lyrically. They had nothing for that was touching what Kiss was doing that night. You know what I'm saying?
They had nothing. No, they didn't.
Exactly. So let's keep the celebration of LL Cool J going, celebration of Jay-Z going, celebration of Tina Turner going. Let's see what happens next. Zacchaeus, anything last you want to say before we move on to this next topic?
Yeah, we're gonna move on real quickly, man. I just want to say that even give the flowers what they hear, because look at Bob Marley, never seen them. It got 3 times inducted into the Hall of Fame, but they never seen it. Mm-hmm. So give the artists the flowers while they're here.
Thank you. Don't wait till Tina's like, I don't know. Tina's probably in her 70s.
Yeah.
Let me look up real quick because I want to be accurate. How old is she?
I think she might be 81.
Might be. She's 81 years old.
I was right.
All right. Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Today's topic: does she disrespect you? Who is she? Well, she's either a long-term girlfriend or a wife, preferably a wife. We're gonna talk about marriages here, and we'll talk about some relationships that are not in the marital status, and then we'll talk about that because, I mean, if she's disrespecting you before you walk down the aisle, then you need to cancel that. You know what I'm saying? But what happens in case of being married? This is perfect because you, sir, are a married man, so you can give your perspective of a married man. I'm not married, so I'm the outside looking in, just like everybody else is who's single looking at the situation with Jada Pinkett-Smith and Will Smith. On Red Table Talk, she had a conversation with Gwyneth Paltrow, like I said in the beginning of the show. And this is what she said.
For me, because I think you expect your partner to know, especially when it comes to sex. Right. It's like, well, if you love me, you should know. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you love me,
you should be able to read
you should read my mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a huge pitfall.
That's a huge pitfall.
Yeah, it is. I hate that.
Isn't
it weird though? It's like someone doesn't read your mind and we feel crushed. Like we feel so disappointed. Where do we get that from?
I don't know.
All right. Let's frame the question this way. My opinion is I felt that, that although she was making a point and it's free speech and it's fine, I don't want to make it seem like Jada doesn't have the right to say anything, but I just want to say that when you are married, you want to make sure that when you speak in general terms. You really got to watch what you say, because the whole point of being married is the covenant that you guys have is private and public at the same time, as far as the acknowledgement of you guys being married, right? But it's but the matters are private. The covenant shows because you are married, right? And that's your husband in public, that's your wife in public. But what goes on between you guys, that should be private. That's between y'all and God. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I look at patterns. The whole thing with before the entanglement, she had an episode talking about, you can have your thing in your corner of the house and I have my thing in the corner of the house, but we ain't leaving this and we gonna work this thing out. You know what I'm saying? Which that's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Then we all know about the entanglement thing. She embarrassed herself, and Will is embarrassed as well, because when you're married and you do something that is shameful, what that does is bring shame to each other. That's not good. That's why you should never do things in your marriage that is not honorable. I'm not saying even if you don't do it to each other, if you do it to somebody else, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You do something to you put them through it too. Like, for instance, a wife goes out there and commits a crime that puts her away for 30 years. The family suffers too, because that's now a mother away from the family. Just like when a husband does the same thing, that brings shame. Now they have no reason to be shamed, but a person did a shameful act, even if that wasn't to the husband or the wife or someone else. Now, I'm gonna let you talk, because in your opinion, because in my opinion, I felt like that whole thing was disrespectful, and I'll break down some things. But you as a married man, Zacchaeus, do you think that was disrespectful, or do you think prior to this and including this that Jada has had a pattern of saying things that have been disclosing certain things into her and Will's marriage as disrespectful since she's had the Red Table Talk podcast?
Okay, Jada, no. Basically comes up with all these things because I guess women, they gossip, like talking, like expressing themselves. Because remember, women are very emotional when it comes to their relationships and their connections with the husbands. So Jada is just, I guess this is her show. The Red Table is her cup of tea and her domain.
It's her platform. It's her platform. Yes.
So she feels very comfortable, and she's comfortable. She's comfortable in speaking her mind and comfortable in speaking to whatever that comes her mind and whatever. She's relaxed and comfortable. Now, sometimes you can get too relaxed and comfortable,
right?
And you can just spill out all your inner thoughts and all your being, so people can pick at it. And then when you do it, you realize, okay, I went too far.
Yeah.
So my opinion, I think that certain things don't need to be said, but I know it's her platform. She would just come and say, well, this is my show. I can feel whatever I want to say. And, yes, you can, but expect some responses. Because if you gotta have something that's sacred.
Yeah.
So I know marriage and I know some people like to say every little thing, every little detail going on in their marriage, or what the husband is doing, or my husband don't do this way, my husband don't do it that way. Like I'm reading the like on Steve Harvey show on the radio. They express every little detail and every little thing. So yeah, I thought she was a little bit, a little just too much information, But we just gotta be, listen, sisters, brothers, or everyone, we just gotta be mindful of how we express ourselves, especially within our personal lives, because people can just throw back in your face when you just express all your personal life to them.
So this should be a code, and I'm gonna give it back to you. So this should be a code, right? Because I notice in a lot of cultures, and I didn't really want to bring it to this, but you mentioned brothers and sisters, right? So I feel like now we gotta have a conversation with black people. If for my people out there that are observant of marriages, across cultures, you will see that certain cultures, whether they're famous or not, know to keep their private matters in their home.
Yes.
You know, I watch a lot of you know, when I listen to a lot of podcasts, you know what I'm saying? Because not only do I do one, I'm a fan of just the podcasting and talk radio culture. And I'm also a fan of you know, the dating perspective, commentaries and stuff like that, marriage and dating perspective. So one of the things that I noticed from my years of looking at stuff is that I noticed that when it comes to black celebrities or black couples, and when they're being analyzed, and whether things happen, I noticed that they're very, you know, that you'll see a lot of black couples very quick to disclose publicly what issues they have going on with their husband or wife, and that is exposed more on a visual and audio sense, and a mass media. I'll say mass media, and it just could be, you know, by design. Maybe it's more about, hey, you know, black people, if you want to be in the world of entertainment, you need to expose yourself. Maybe that's what it could be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because black reality shows expose and show, sadly, a lot of our dirt, and expose the lowest common denominators. You know what I'm saying? And that's not good, you know, because I don't see it with a lot of other cultures in the same level that I see it with you know, with black folks, you know, in mass media. You know what I'm saying? A lot of other times, respectfully, and which is a good thing, I would see that some marriages respectfully would say, hey, you know what? We're not doing the reality show no more. Or we're not going to do such and such no more because, you know, we got too much stuff going on. You know, they're not so driven by a check like that. It's not worth it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I noticed that. I don't like it, but I notice it. Does that mean black people are doing more things? No, it's not that we're doing more things than anybody else, but more of our stuff is being shown. Our bad, but our good is not being shown. That's the problem. So then it looks like there's no balance. You get what I'm saying? It makes it look like that's all what they're doing, but it's what's being shown. The narrative. I don't like the narrative. The narrative just angers me sometimes. I don't like it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, what she did was disrespectful. You know what I mean? You don't, and then let's get into a general sense, because we're not going to just keep it all on Jada. Because the title is not, did Jada disrespect? Well, the title is, does she disrespect you? Let's play this again.
For me, because I think you expect your partner to know, especially when it comes to sex. Right. It's like, well, if you love me, you should know. Right.
You expect your partner to know. Let's stick on that before we get to the other part. She said you expect your partner to know. Well, in what sense? Because I may know you. I may know things about you. I may know what makes you tick, right? But I'm not going to always know what's on your mind after so many years, because I'll tell you what, people go through seasons in marriages. You know, sometimes there's a season where there's a lot of good happening, and then there's a season where there's a lot of tests happening. You know, the wife is being tested, the husband is being tested outside of the marriage. And then in the marriage, husband and wife are testing each other. Speak to that, Zacchaeus.
Well, every time, how do you see a husband and wife go through some things in the marriage? Is only sometimes it's just for a season, but sometimes you got to be within that season. You have to have patience within that season. You gotta, maybe will help you and your partner grow within that season. Within that season, hopefully you can better yourself in that season, because we all at a certain time, especially when you're married for a long time, you go through these either you get better with time and you learn, or you just stay in the same level. Yeah. So we, as you know, if you're married, sometimes you go through these phases and everything. Yeah, you go through these things and everything. I know. I was looking at the listening to radio show, Steve Harvey Morning Show. Those who don't know, I think that show is national. I think.
Yeah, it's syndicated.
And,
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think one of the callers in the Strawberry Letter, Shirley Strawberry Letter, she was reading something and she said, and it read, "Dear Steve, my husband my husband always wanted us to get into a threesome, and all of a sudden then we finally, when we got to the threesome, he doesn't like it anymore because he realized that that he's worn out, and me and the other woman are energetic or energizer bunnies." Well, that's just an example of how people in a marriage or people in a relationship, how they, as a time period, as the season and time goes on, that certain things happen that you wanted it, but all of a sudden now when it's finally there, now you're changing your mind, you don't want it. So we all go through these phases and changes in the relationship, and we just gotta learn how to especially to compromise. It's because marriage is a lot of compromising and adapting to your partner and everything. And sometimes when you don't adapt and you don't learn how to listen to each other, that's the key thing, listening to each other. When you don't learn how to listen to each other, you ignore what the other person say, that's when the problems come pouring in. But we're going to keep it 100, but that's how it is, man. Sometimes you go through these periods of times in your life and your marriage, and you go through some, or in your relationship, and sometimes you don't know how to, when changes come, you don't know how to handle it. It's all about understanding. It's all about compromise and prayer and working things out. Yes.
So good. Now you're talking about the ins and outs when stuff does happen. Now, the problem, that's not the problem here. Actually, the problem is when you're disclosing it, and Will and Jada are public people, especially Will, right? And so what people would yes, this happens with a lot of men to their women. I mean, there's too many talk shows about that for years, so we already know. But there's not enough people talking about when women do it. What women have to understand is that the man and everything that he does is a reflection. The wife is a reflection of who a man chooses, because whoever he chose also speaks about him. Okay, if he is not respected in his home, then he is not respected by his peers. How about that? So when women embarrass or disrespect their husbands in public, a good indicator is that it's probably worse at home.
Yeah.
And it's alleged, but it's probably, and we know there's problems at home because publicly, Jada talked about the entanglement she had with August Alsina. Okay? So the thing is, what is secret should stay secret, but I don't know what this is leading towards. I know the timing is interesting. She's going viral with this clip, right? Will has a YouTube special coming out that documents his life. It's called The Best Shape of His Life or whatever it's called. That's documenting his life after 50, basically. He's kind of, talking about, the things that he's been wanting to do and accomplish. And he's been very active on Instagram and social media. Will is very good. He doesn't need a podcast, a talk show. He doesn't need one. He's been doing very well. And Will is still very much in the prime of his life in terms of acting. I mean, he still has a lot to go. Will is Will is a legend, that of a legend up there in the same sentence as Denzel Washington, Samuel Jackson, Jamie Foxx, just to name a few. Okay?
Yeah.
He's in that list. Lawrence Fishburne. He's in that list, okay? So he's respected, and he's been respected for the most part in Hollywood and to the core audience of viewers when it comes to his, the Fresh Prince show and his movies. We didn't know this stuff about him. There were rumors that they were in an open marriage years ago and swingers all the years ago. That's irrelevant now. Yeah. But now, what does this do to Will going forward? Because in one sense, Will doesn't want to publicly bash his wife. He doesn't want to be tit for tat. That's not his personality. He could, but he doesn't want to be that because that actually messes with him. Jada, on the other hand, she don't have a whole bunch of movies and stuff in the pipeline like Will does. Okay, Jada Pinkett's not a legend, in the same sense that Will is. Now, right. Jada should be respected for what she does. Let me not crap on that. But if you disrespect your husband or your boyfriend, ladies, in public, then you give license to other women to disrespect him too. That's just the women. I ain't even talk about the men, because the men are coming like, dang, well, you gonna let this woman emasculate you? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is important. Zacchaeus, speak to that.
Yeah, understand that women like to express themselves. People like to express themselves and be free sometimes to express themselves. And but in a certain, sometimes you could take it too far sometimes. And you can go to every, and people like doing this, going to every detail of what they do in the bedroom. And then I remember during the clip, Jada said, "Well, your partner should know. Yes, your partner should know."
She said, "Okay, yeah. Let's play more because we're doing breakdowns. Let's play more."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If you love me,
you should be able to read my mind.
You should read my mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a huge pitfall.
That's a huge pitfall.
Yeah, it is. I hate that.
You should be able to. She said, your partner should know, especially when it comes to sex. You mentioned the bedroom. And she said, if you love me, you should be able to, and Gwyneth Paltrow helps her finish her sentence, you should be able to read my mind. That should be okay. You said, and I need to kind of push back on what you said just a little bit. I get it. You're saying women, women such as her, not all women, because I know plenty of women who wouldn't do this on a public platform. So it's no excuse. But you're saying women like Jada, because of her platform and because of her pattern, wants to express herself. Okay.
Yeah.
When it involves you and you only. Now it becomes a problem when you're involving the husband too. And maybe she did talk to him and get his license to talk about it. So, we could be sitting here talking for nothing. But like I said, this is about the principle of when stuff like that happens in any relationship. Okay? You don't have the right to do that. You don't have the right to talk about Zacchaeus. Me, hold on. I'm gonna get to it in a second. Me and you are best friends. Okay?
Yeah.
Me and you have stories together. Okay?
Yes.
I have a right to talk about and expose my dirt if I want to. But do I have a right to expose your dirt if it's a story that involves me and you, right? And we had a fallout or issue, whatever. Do I have the right to talk about it because it involves you?
No, you have to, I think that would have to be discussed.
Thank you.
Before you can whatever.
And that's my point. That's my point.
Level, but
exactly.
But yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, but some women would backfire on us and say, well, Z and fifth, that's just the way how I am and everything. I want to be free to this. I'm keeping it real. I just want to talk about my husband and what we do and everything. What's wrong with that?
Well, okay. If she is a Christian, and what I mean by Christian, I mean a believer in Jesus Christ. Okay, God, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, Yeshua, all of his names, okay? If she's a believer, she's not supposed to do that. Neither is the man.
Oh, not at all.
Not at all. So it's not biblical. Now, I don't know what Will and Jada's faith is, but if a woman is going to push back on me and you about saying that, then if she is a believer, because if she's not a believer, non-believers do what the world does, and there's no rules. Okay, this is why you know, there's no, when the world does as the world does, they don't have a rule. And this is why, and this is why we have total utter chaos in this world. Okay?
Right.
But to believers, you're not supposed to do that. I have a question, because this is Jada Pinkett-Smith. What if this was T.D. Jakes? What if Pastor T.D. Jakes got on his program and started disclosing stuff about him and his wife? He wouldn't be respected for that.
That would be a big turn off, because because of his status as a pastor and as the leader of the leader of his congregation. You know, that would not sit well, especially with his wife. That would not that can't go.
Right. It wouldn't sit. But he would be held accountable for doing that.
Jada's more like a free spirit, you know, because she wants to be able to express herself any old way she wants to express her stuff. So that's what you call a free spirit. Sometimes they don't conceal everything. They just exploit everything out. What is, you know, and they do that. What they exploit everything out.
Yeah.
And but expect the back. But she has to prepare for the critiques.
Yeah.
Because you see, a respectable woman is not going to expose everything out. You know, why would you do that?
No.
Expose everything out. You expose everything on social media. You expose everything in the public eye. No.
Well, because look, we see men get held accountable all the time. Married men get held accountable all the time for the dirt that they expose in their personal lives with their wife. We see that all the time. You can't just get up there and say what you want to say. Okay? So if the same rules apply to the husband, those rules should apply to the wife. And best believe, if Will would have got on Red Table Talk and said, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Jada should be able to read my mind. She know how I like it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't feeling that. Listen, we already had this conversation with the entanglement episode. If I said, what if it was Will who got on Red Table Talk and talked about his sexual affair with another woman publicly? We already talked about how that man, it would cancel the heck out of that man. Will is suffering in silence, man. Well, at least that's what it looks like. Now, that's him. Now, I'm sure a lot of men are going through that. Okay? Some women think it's cute to crack jokes in front of their friends and family about their husband, but it disrespects them. You know, if you're doing something that you know I have a problem with and it's disrespectful, you don't see it as disrespectful. You just see it as you joking around. It's not funny. That's not cute. That's the kind of stuff that men and women are going through personally when they're not celebrities. You know, Zacchaeus, what do you have to say about that?
There's a lot of things that people go, you know, it's a lot. When you try to break down relationships, you break down marriages and everything, it's a lot of dirt that you don't want to expose, not in the public. I know they have social media and people express themselves on social media, which is definitely a no-no.
Right.
Which is a big time no-no. You put all your business out there, but where is the and this is where the respect comes in. Respect comes in when you don't have to expose everything. If you want to teach, that's a different story now. If you want to teach and and situations that you go through. You teach other younger couples that what you go through, and expose the situation that you've been through, and then you expose, you know, and you expose. Oh man, we've been through. Me and my wife, we separated for a while, but then we get back together again. And this is how we we had to come to we had to go to counseling, and we had to sit down with the counselor, and we had to iron out our differences, and then that's teaching. But to expose what goes on in the bedroom is man, oh man. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I have more to say. So here's the thing, okay? Like I said, there are light jabs and stuff like that, right? Where, you know, a wife or a girlfriend would say, yeah, you did so, you be doing so and so, and da 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 da, and maybe he didn't want people to know. You know what I'm saying? So that's disrespectful. You know what I mean? And then also when women get around to other people in the public and they disclose something that they may have had a prior argument with their boyfriend or husband, and then now they want to talk about that in front of everybody, or they want to ask an opinion, you know, like, hey, what would you say, you know, so-and-so did this the other day. Like, yo, why would somebody do that? And then it's like, what if he don't want nobody to know that? That's supposed to be between y'all two. You know what I mean? So that's like I said, if you see someone getting disrespected in public, then it's safe to say that they're being disrespected in private. It's probably worse.
I seen couples do this. I seen couples had an argument, right?
Yeah.
And then they put it on social media. Do you know about her? Do you know he did this? Do you know he did that? You know he's wrong. And they expose it.
Yeah.
They go live and they expose their business out in the public. Say, what do you think? Mm-hmm. My boyfriend said he had a baby with somebody else and everything, and we had this big blown up argument and everything, and I told him not to, and he told me not to expose it, but I'm gonna expose it anyway. Yeah. And this is a situation that we need to go on. We need even go on the Maury Povich show just to sit down and we can see who the baby belonged to. There's people that do that. There's people that.
Oh yeah, that's the whole Maury Jerry Springer culture. Yeah.
Yeah. There's people that they just expose everything, man. They have no holds barred.
No holds barred. But meanwhile, people are really hurt though. Like we have to like, I know people watch like Basketball Wives or mainly Love and Hip Hop. You know, shows like Love and Hip Hop.
That still comes on. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You see stuff all the time in Love and Hip Hop, and it's scripted, right? But then there's some things that are not scripted at all, and you have real people are hurting behind this. I'm gonna name a TV show, right? And somebody's gonna be like, really? Fantasia, singer Fantasia had a reality show. I think it was either 1 or 2 seasons, and she got a real rough story. She's been through a lot, Fantasia. She's had a rough life, right? And her brother was right there in it too. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so, you know, it looked like something was scripted, but then as you could tell, it wasn't scripted at all. This man was, you know, her brother was really hurt. You know what I'm saying? There was an episode where they was at the studio and then they got into an argument, and then, you know, she left the studio and then he's sitting there, calls her up, and he's calling her crying and screaming. And what we found out behind closed doors is that their relationship hasn't been that great, and sometimes the show exposes stuff. You know, we've seen this with Brandy and Ray J. Brandy and Ray J had a reality show together, and there's an episode where Ray J and Brandy are yelling at each other, and he's crying. He's crying because that's his sister, and he loves her, and it actually is hurting him having an issue with her. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't see that episode. Wow.
Well, that's the kind of stuff that shouldn't be. This is what I'm saying. Now that's brother and sister. That's not husband and wife. But let's name husband and wife. Love and Hip Hop, you had Kirk and God, what's her name? Rashida. You know, you got they wasn't married at this time, but you know, you had Stevie J and
what's that girl name again? Puerto Rican princess, right?
Not Jocelyn, the other one, the one that he had. God, Mimi, right?
Yeah.
And you know, it's reality TV, but then there's parts where an argument between them gets so real that, you know, she's crying so hard that she can't even speak. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And then cameras got to be cut off. You know what I mean? You know. So the thing is that, you know, it's not worth it, man. You know, I don't think this show is healthy. I don't think Red Table. I'm not. You know, let me be careful here because I don't want to. I'm not a hater. But I just feel like if this was any other marriage where you know, greatly see the respect of husband and wife, that they wouldn't disclose this kind of stuff. They wouldn't do it for clout. They don't care how good or bad the podcast does. Because at the end of the day, if we remove Will's movies and shows and Jada's accomplishments and her movies and shows and her current podcast, there's still Will Smith and Jada Pinkett-Smith. There's still two individuals who are married to each other who have to be accountable to each other.
Yeah.
That should be more important than some freaking show and ratings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I love entertainment too, but I would never put my wife out there like that. And let me tell you something, my wife would know better. And let me tell you something else about disrespect in public. They ain't the only one. Remember last year? It was either last year or the year before last, Aisha Curry, Steph Curry's wife. You know, she was talking about, yo, you know, I see my husband and, you know, he's an NBA star and everything. And, you know, I don't get attention like I used to. And, you know, not that I want attention from other men, but it'd be nice to have it. And she said this on Red Table Talk. And Jada was co-signing. Little did we know, Jada was going through her own stuff.
Right.
And this is an old episode. That's disrespectful too. Because if Steph Curry would have got on there and said, yeah, I know I got a good wife and all that, home and all that, but man, it'd be nice for me to get other attention from groupies. Can you imagine? Come on.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah. Oh no, you can't say that.
Got my voice changing up in here, pissing me off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. What do we tell men when this happens, man? You know, honestly, you know how when people say, yo, man, you better check your girl. And, you know, a lot of people think a lot of people take that as offensive. But you know, what they mean by check your girl is this, or check your, or if a man's being disrespectful to one of her lady friends, check your man. The reason why you hear stuff like this is because there are certain things that should be non-disclosed. There got to be some you got to have non-disclosure rules. You know what I'm saying? You got to have rules, and these rules need to be talked about before you get married. And then when you are married, you want to keep those conversations going. Brother, me and you did talk radio back in 2008 and 2009, and then we've been doing this podcast since 2017, I think, or whatever, right? Not once, and you're a married man, and not once have you got on here and exposed your stuff. And if you did, I would check you on that. You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't even have that on the show. So I'm saying you, sir, have the common decency to not expose your marriage. So if you could behave right, she should be able to behave right too, right?
I would say so. Yeah.
You gotta find, Jada, find something else to talk about. Maybe it's that. Maybe there's a lack of talent. You know, for the world of talk, for the world of podcasting and talk content, and that may be the reason why she's even doing this. Maybe there's a lack of talent there. I mean, her show is successful. I don't want to make it seem like she's not successful, but it's Jada Pinkett-Smith who's married to Will Smith. So she's already she's already a name married to an even bigger name. So that could also explain the attention, but maybe there's a lack of talent there. And she does, and she can't help, but to say stuff like this.
Yes.
I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe this ain't it.
It's a strong possibility.
It's a strong possibility
because many people like attention. They love the attention. So
and there's a lot of married men, celebrity married men, then they're not talking about what's going on between them and their wife on talk shows. They're not doing that.
Yeah.
People want to talk about Howard Stern. Okay, you're right. Howard at one point, and this is documented, Howard at one point talked about what happened between him and his wife, as far as them losing a baby years a long time ago with his first wife or whatever. Okay, now he got deep check for that. You know what I'm saying? And he's a shock jock. He was called a shock jock of radio. Could Jada Pinkett-Smith be a shock jock on the Red Table Talk? Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe that's the situation and the path that she's going in, and Will gave her the blessing. Maybe that's what's going on. And we're all just sitting here trying to figure out what's actually going on, and maybe that could actually be going on. Maybe Red Table Talk has become a shock factor show where every now and then Jada's gonna say something that's gonna shock the world.
Wow.
But it works the way it does because it's Will Smith. It's not worth it. You got this man out here, you send that man out there, and now you're gonna have other women. Two things could happen. Other women and men are gonna disrespect him because they're gonna say, well, your wife ain't respect you. Or other women are gonna be more proactive about stealing Will from her. Because to the public eye, Will is still what you would call a dating choice for a lot of women. A lot of women. Come on now.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real. Okay?
Quite a lot of women.
Will has a lot of qualities that women typically would want in a man.
Yeah.
Okay, number one, the man is rich. Number two, the man is not a bad looking man. And his personality is he has a very outgoing personality. He's funny. You know what I'm saying? Right. He also has a lot of wisdom. Okay. Right. He's teachable. Mm-hmm. I mean, for years we thought he was the head of the household, but I mean, I don't know what's going on. But women typically want that. You know what I'm saying? Because he fits the criteria of some things some women would want. So that's another reason why women should really watch what they do as far as disrespecting their man. And you disrespecting him in private is bad enough, but disrespecting him in public, all that does is just draw more attention from what could happen coming into the relationship.
Yeah, you see, when you come off with the disrespect, it only gets worse.
Yeah.
When you come off with the disrespect, it doesn't pan out correctly. It only gets worse, and then she can disrespect you anytime you want.
Exactly.
Because you didn't nip it in the butt. When you see disrespect coming out, sometimes you gotta talk it out and just say, "Listen, listen, please don't speak to me that way," or you know what I'm saying.
Don't speak to me that way. Don't speak about me in that way.
Right.
We gotta have an understanding.
Yeah, man.
That's why I said there got to be some non-disclosure rules, some rules, man. There got to be some rules, man. There are things that people shouldn't be telling their family members. You know, forget friends. You know, there are certain things that a daughter shouldn't be telling her mother. A son shouldn't be telling his father, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you're married, especially when you're married.
Yeah.
We're gonna close up the show. Zacchaeus, any closing statements before we go? I feel like I made my point. Go ahead.
Oh yes. Yeah, brothers and sisters, we gotta if you're in a relationship, you gotta learn how to respect certain things. Not everything should be put out there in the that needs to be put out there in the public, because that's how people jam themselves up, man. Too much information.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right. Tell them where they can reach you, man.
Hey, you can reach me on Facebook. Wayne Zacchaeus Bacchus on Facebook, also on Twitter at Wayne Bacchus 2 on Twitter, on Instagram Zacchaeus B73, also on another platform, also on TikTok Wayne Zacchaeus Bacchus on TikTok. Blessings.
All right, so we're gonna you can reach me at the Fifth General on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All right, we're gonna get up out of here, man. This was another episode of Mrs. Z and Fifth, and we'll see y'all next time, man.
Next time. Peace.
Peace.